There we go. Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to Plant Powered with myself. I am Coach Kayla. I go by Coach Kayla, but I'm also a registered dietitian and a certified personal trainer. And I'm glad to be back for another episode this month talking about holiday eating. So now we're getting into that season of holiday eating. And I seem to have a lot of clients always, really brings up a lot of concern around this time of year, around weight gain and getting out of our regular eating schedules and things like that. So I wanted to start this conversation this month. Obviously, this will definitely go to next month. So I think next month I'll probably just do a part two of just talking more about holiday eating as it relates to plant-based as well when it comes to holiday eating, which can be challenging. So I want to talk about this a little bit today in the 10-20 minutes that we have today, and I'll answer any questions, if of course, if anyone has any questions about the topic today or anything else. Before we get started, if you are live, let us know you're live. Say hi below in the comments. I'd love to know if you are live. If you're watching this on replay, if you can also just comment below replay. If you're also watching this on replay, that would be great as well. Another thing as well that we always like to mention as well is to thank our sponsors. Virtual Veg Fest has sponsors that allows speakers like me to speak for Virtual Veg Fest. So thank you, Hoda Foods, for sponsoring this month. And Virtual Veg Fest also offers a lot of also free contests and gifts and things like that. So definitely enter their contest. Go to virtualvegfestlive.com to win some awesome prize packs from the sponsors, and also follow me as well, which I'll give you more of as you get more information on how to follow me as well. So holiday eating, as I said, this is always a topic that comes up a lot. So what I want to start with is, since the Thanksgiving holiday is coming up, I want to start there and talking about some things that we can do as those that are vegan or whole food plant-based, to support our values, because around Thanksgiving, that's when we're gonna usually we're eating turkeys, right? And if we're vegan, yes, and if you're first time vegan, right, this might be your first time, and you're not really sure what to do. So I want to talk about that and start there. And then I also want to talk about, eating while we're traveling, because this seems to come up a lot too, especially, I mean, around, these holidays that are coming up, specifically, Thanksgiving. A lot of people, I think, tend to travel a lot more. So I want to talk about this because I've started to have these conversations with some of my clients as well. So those are the two main topics that I want to start talking about. As I said, we'll continue this for next month. So what can we do if we're first going vegan and we're not really sure what we can do to support our values, especially around Thanksgiving, since it's all about eating turkey? Is one would be adopting a turkey. The farm sanctuary that I volunteered at for the past couple months, that I volunteer for, they offer you to sponsor one of their turkeys, which is really cool to do. And they send you something and everything. And like, thank you for, sponsoring them or adopting their turkey, and helps, preventing turkeys from getting killed and eaten on Thanksgiving. So I think that's a great thing to support. And let me see if I can find that information to adopting the turkeys. I definitely will. I know there's a link Yes, Adopt a Turkey Farm Sanctuary. There it is. And if you do have the opportunity to volunteer at a farm sanctuary, I really recommend that you do. There's so many farm sanctuaries around. I know this farm sanctuary, this is in, so I'm going to put the link in the comments here. Hopefully that worked. I'm not sure. Yes, it did. Okay. That is the link to Adopt a Turkey, but Farm Sanctuary, their organization, they have one in Watkins Glen, New York, as well as out in California. There's two locations. So I encourage anybody, if you do have the opportunity, especially if you're new to getting into veganism and, doing it for ethical reasons, a great, or even if not, even if for health reasons, you've decided to go vegan, but want to learn more of the ethics of being vegan and why some people may also go vegan for that reason. Definitely a great experience and to learn more. So that's one thing. Another thing would be to bring your own dishes to family gatherings. Bring a plant-based dish. I've been doing this for quite a few years since I've been vegan with my family, even though they're not. And you'll be surprised that sometimes they really do really like the dishes that I've brought, even though because it's something that's different. I think sometimes, if people are open to trying new foods, they, at least with my family, they actually are surprisingly. I say that surprisingly because I am surprised that they are open to trying new foods. Um, but they haven't really enjoyed them, which is really great. So even if somebody's not going to go plant based, or go vegan, that's just a great way to start the conversation. And so in um, showing that you don't have to go full plant based, but even just incorporating more plants or more recipes like this, can be beneficial for our health and the environment and all these other things. So that's one thing that can be helpful. And then in regards to traveling, what can be helpful with traveling is being prepared. I talk about this a lot with clients, on what can you bring with you? And I know there's some limitations sometimes if we're traveling internationally. I know with COVID it's kind of harder too because I believe it's still on like airplanes and flights and stuff. You still need to have a mask on in some public areas. So I know that can be more challenging to eat and things like that. But I really encourage my clients, if they can, to prepare ahead of time and bring food with them, bring snacks, bring things with you when you're traveling. Um, it creates less anxiety of what am I going to have to eat? Am I going to end up grabbing something that's not vegan because I'm hungry and all of that? So that's really helpful. And then also when it comes to regulating our eating pattern and really trying to eat a regular eating pattern, it can get off during, when we're traveling. And it's really key to find that balance and also give yourself that permission and be okay with that it's going to look off. And it's not going to be ideal, but we want to be thinking about what can we do to make this as as helpful as we can, like to serve the goals that we have, nutrition goals that we have. How can we meet those the best we can even though we're traveling? So those are just some things to think about, and things that I recommend. um Anything else? Any questions? I think those are the two things that I really wanted to kind of, or a couple things that I wanted to focus on today. So, one, Thanksgiving's coming up. If you're looking to really support your values or the vegan community, great option is to adopt a turkey. And I put the link in there. And then we also talked about, uh, bringing a dish to a gathering, and starting that conversation of talking with others about your decision to go vegan and plant-based. And then three, when you're traveling, bring your snacks, prepare ahead of time, think about, what you can eat, what you can have, start kind of figuring those things out as you're traveling and what's going to happen when you get there, and also give yourself permission to be okay, not eating as ideal as you want. That's okay as well. And of course that's why dietitians are here, and especially like um me, that works with specifically those that are plant-based, to make this easier, to really make sure that we are, or you are also meeting your needs and your nutrient needs, without deficiencies. So that's a lot what I do when I work with clients one on one, is really making sure and figuring out what that plan looks like for them to meet those needs, to prevent those nutrient deficiencies. So a lot of times that is what we're working on. Um, and having a good relationship with food sometimes does tie into that as well. So yeah, does anyone have any questions? I feel like that was pretty quick, but I want to leave for kind of a part two to kind of continue this discussion of holiday eating. And I hope everybody had a good Halloween, as well. And I know there's gonna be, I'm sure, a lot of Halloween candy around, and be okay with that too. I know that's not necessarily plant-based or vegan, and I know probably everyone has different opinions around this as well, since those candies are not vegan. Coming from a more disordered eating past, I am pretty lenient with holiday candy and allow myself to, because if I don't allow myself to, then I feel like it could go kind of overboard with candy. So I do give myself that permission, but figure out, of course everyone has to figure out what works well for them. And Yes, maybe some could judge me for that, and that's okay, but that is what works for me. And I just want to give everybody that permission to do what works for you, what works best for you, to meet your values, to meet your nutrition goals. Of what's, and always have in forefront what is most important. Having a good relationship with food, and your mental health is always most important. So, that's why I choose to do that. And I hope that you have a good balance with that as well, or made your own vegan candies as well. There are other treats too, or non non-food treats. That is also an option, and that's something I have done actually in past Halloweens, given out non-food items for those that are vegan or have kids that have food allergies. So that's something to think about as well for next year, for next Halloween. But those are some tips for the upcoming holidays. And as I said, we'll have a part two of this, talking more about navigating holiday eating. And if anyone has any questions or has any comments or feedback, feel free to post below. And I have my Instagram handle scrolling on the bottom here at plant-based underscore performance underscore RD. And you can also email me at kaylaslaterrd@gmail.com. That is fine as well. If you want to reach out to me, have any questions, would like to learn more how to work with me, all of that sort of stuff, feel free to email me, go to my website, find me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, all of the things. Um, Gracie. Oh, Gracie just had a comment. Thank you, Gracie. I did think of non-food items for Halloween. Yay! Yeah, I always think that's so important, and I think it really just ties into our values of including those others that are vegan or have food allergies, is important to include, because it just kind of makes sense. If we're eating this way, what if others are too? And making it, always thinking about how do we make this easier for our community, for others that choose this path as well. So yeah, that's so great. Yes, and there is so, exactly, Gracie. There are so many kids with food allergies. It is, yeah, it's very, very common as a dietitian. I don't work with a lot of kids or pediatrics right now, but I do work with young adults, and we do see allergies. But I know in like former dietitian positions that I've had when I have worked with younger kids, yeah, the food allergies are just very, very crazy. And I work with some parents that talk about all the food allergies their kids have, and how challenging it is, when they go to school and all of that. And let's see, schools. I have worked in some schools, and I know most schools that I've been in do not allow nuts at all, um, which is a major. Tree nuts are definitely a major allergen. But it's interesting because I always recommend. I recommend a lot nut butters, but there's sunflower butter is allergen free for anybody that can't have nuts. So that's good to know. Awesome. So thank you, Gracie, for your comments. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Kind of went on a little rant there at the end, but thanks for hanging in. And thanks for joining me. And we will see you next month. Stay safe and warm as well. If you're in the northern part of the world or United States where it's getting colder, stay warm and stay safe. Bye.